Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nutrition Edge, where we dig into the science behind our nutrition. Ever wonder if ordering food from apps like Swiggy and Zomato is secretly changing how you eat and maybe even affecting your health? Well, a fascinating new paper gives us a clue. In this video, we're going to break down a massive study that dives deep into how these food delivery apps are transforming what we eat in cities. We'll look at the numbers, the science behind how they work, the surprising ways our eating habits might be changing, and what it could mean for our health. All with a healthy dose of skepticism, because, important note, this paper is a preprint, meaning it hasn't been formally reviewed by other scientists yet. Let's start with the big picture. We're talking about a world where ordering food is easier than ever. In India, the market for food delivery apps is huge and growing like crazy. This study looked at the massive ecosystems of Swiggy and Zomato, analyzing over 83 million orders. That is a lot of food. The researchers wanted to understand if this convenience is changing our eating habits in ways we might not even realize. To get a grip on this complex issue, they developed something called the Food Delivery Impact Index, or FDII. Think of it as a score that measures how much food delivery apps are changing your eating habits. It looks at a few things: how often you order, how much your food choices differ from what is generally considered healthy, how much your meal times are shifting, and even some economic factors. They assigned weights to these components, with nutritional changes getting the most importance because, well, that's what we're here to talk about. They found that higher FDII scores were linked to negative health outcomes. For example, people with higher FDII scores tended to see a bigger increase in their body mass index, or BMI, over time. This index also seemed to predict whether someone was likely to have unhealthy eating patterns with pretty good accuracy. So what are these changes they found? First, ordering frequency and convenience. The study says these apps have boosted convenience-driven ordering by a massive 340%. That is a huge jump. About 34% of users are what they call high-frequency users, placing quite a few orders per week. And they account for a large chunk of the total orders. Meal timing is also getting messed up. Traditionally, we might have set times for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But with apps easily accessible, meal times are shifting, often getting delayed, and there is a significant amount of late night ordering. This study found that regular app users are cooking at home less often, about 28% less. Now, for the nutrition part, which is where things get concerning, the researchers compared the typical nutritional profile of food ordered through these apps to recommended dietary guidelines, and the results are stark. Delivered meals were showing about 20.5% more calories than recommended. Fat intake up by nearly 46%. Saturated fat was a whopping 90% higher than recommended. Sodium was way up, and fiber intake was down significantly. Only about 16% of the orders they analyzed fell into what they classified as a healthy category. This is a big deal because it means the convenience of these apps often leads us towards less nutrient-dense, higher-calorie foods. The researchers then looked at the broader public health consequences. They found a clear dose-response relationship, which is a sciencey way of saying that the more you use these apps, the higher your risk of certain health problems. For every extra order per month, there was a small but significant increase in BMI. They estimate that this could be contributing to hundreds of thousands of new obesity cases and tens of thousands of type 2 diabetes cases every year in India. The economic cost of these health issues is also substantial. Now, before we get too alarmed, it is really important to remember the limitations of this study. First, it is a preprint, so it hasn't passed the rigorous checks of peer review yet. Second, much of the data is aggregated and anonymized, meaning we don't know the exact details of individual orders or health statuses. They relied on company reports and existing studies, which could have their own biases. Estimating nutritional content is also tricky. Restaurant-provided information might not perfectly reflect what is actually prepared. And all those hidden ingredients like oils and sauces are hard to perfectly account for. Also, they used propensity score matching to try and establish causality, but there could still be other unmeasured factors influencing the results. The study also focuses on urban India, so it might not apply everywhere. So what is the takeaway here? Food delivery apps are incredibly convenient, and they've undeniably changed how we eat in cities. They create jobs and support businesses, which is great. But this research suggests that the convenience often comes at a nutritional cost. The easy access to calorie-dense, nutrient-poor foods, combined with shifts in our meal timing and less home cooking, seems to be a recipe for potential public health challenges. The researchers propose several policy recommendations, like mandatory nutritional labeling on menus, public awareness campaigns about healthy ordering, and incentivizing platforms to promote healthier options. They essentially argue that since technology has driven these changes, technology can also be part of the solution. This is a complex issue with no easy answers. The convenience is undeniable, but the potential long-term health impacts are significant. As always, it's about being mindful of our choices and understanding how the systems around us influence our eating habits. As a big picture thinker in nutrition, what strikes me about studies like this is how intertwined our food environment is with technology. It is not just about individual willpower, it's about how platforms are designed to influence our decisions, often prioritizing engagement and profit over nuanced dietary health. We see this pattern repeat across many industries, highlighting the urgent need for both consumer education and regulatory frameworks that encourage healthier food systems, whether they're delivered to our doorsteps or found on grocery shelves. It is a constant dance between leveraging innovation and safeguarding public well-being. What are your thoughts on food delivery apps? Do you find they change your eating habits? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to The Nutrition Edge for more science-based insights into our food. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.